All right. A couple things real fast. For anybody that has been watching the Dragon's Dogma 2 playthrough, um, I was super excited about the game. I know that I dove straight into it. I even put my completionism of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on hold so that I could go through Dragon's Dogma 2. Um, because of some issues that I have with the game, I am actually going to be uh, putting that playthrough on pause, at least for now. It is going to be indefinitely on hold until either A, the performance issues get ironed out, or B, there's some changes made to the game, or a DLC comes out that makes the game feel more like Dragon's Dogma to me. Um, if you want to know the reason why, I go a little bit more in depth and will probably point out a lot of things during the Dragon's Dogma 1 playthrough. So if you're interested in seeing the first original and you haven't seen Dragon's Dogma 1, then that video is going up. I just finished the first portion of that earlier today. Um, but realistically, performance issues, I'm not too happy with some of the changes to the game. It just doesn't feel quite as precise. The game doesn't feel as fun to explore. It feels like a lot of the game was copy pasted in, and a lot of emphasis was put on graphics, and not as much emphasis was put on um, rewards or the sheer amount of items, the amount of upgrades, things like that. Um, I know they say they've got this new cool system with NPCs that makes the world interact with itself over time, which is really cool and all. But I think that that comes at the detriment of what could have been more fun, more interesting biomes, more interesting dungeons, and new enemies. I think those are probably my biggest critiques. The adding of the campsite completely demolishes the idea of the crafting system that they put into the game. I think the crafting system was cool. When I saw it, I was like, this could be great. And then I realized that they removed the ability for you to use restoratives to restore lost HP, non recoverable HP. Um, in the first one, you can use restoratives to recover non magic recoverable HP, which was one of the reasons why restoratives were so important in the first game, and why I used them so often. I think that for a game that rewards you for gathering and exploring the game, having a plethora of those definitely makes the game playable and more fun. And you interact with a lot of those things on purpose by design. And they changed that in the new one, and the campsites just completely eliminate the need to use the crafting system or even gather any mats whatsoever. I think I'm like somewhere between 20 and 40 hours in that game, and I have like 100 of the cure potions. I've got hundreds and hundreds of gathered items that just sit in my storage now because they weigh way too much, like so much. Um, and so carrying virtually anything in your pack slows the game down, which has already been slowed down quite a lot from the first one. And you don't use it. There's a campsite every 20 feet. So why would you ever use the restoratives? I only ran into one situation where my camp pack was destroyed, uh, and I basically just went back to town, and that was the only part of the game where I could have used restoratives, but I didn't because they can't recover non-recoverable HP. So I don't know. I think there was just a lot of missed opportunities with the game. The game feels great to play when it's running well. I should add that. When it's running well, it feels great to play. It is a lot more sluggish and a lot more calculating than the old game. Graphics obviously got a huge buff. Um, the game looks incredible. The environments are one of the things that I praised Dragon's Dogma 1 the highest for. There's a lot of places in Dragon's Dogma 1 that feel legitimately like a maze, like a fully fleshed out, thought about maze where you go from basically an action RPG or ARPG, RPG mix style of game to almost a platformer because of all the jumping puzzles, all the really cool rewards you get, all the little um, quick finds here and there that is just placed all over. Like there's several layers and several big biomes, namely like the Griffin area, where there's a quest in the first one that takes you to fight a Griffin. It's way up in the north. It's a long trek. You get there, you fight the Griffin, and it's cool. You get some rewards, but if you stop, stay, and look around that place, there are so many jumping puzzles and so many little pieces of loot that you can find all over that place. Bitter Black Isle, the expansion of Dragon's Dogma, is one gigantic maze. The entire environment is one massive maze with hundreds of doors and pathways and lots of rewards, lots of really cool fights, lots of really cool enemies, lots of really cool weapons and armor sets, tons of ways for you to upgrade that, really cool quests that involve all of that wrapped into one. It was just a really well thought out, like well loved, passionate project. So if you guys haven't played the first one, I would heavily recommend it because the second one, in my opinion, has not really captured me as a true Dragon's Dogma game. It takes some of the elements of the first one, copies it into the second one, upgrades the graphics, and the trade off is that you get poor performance and a lack of environmental detail and passion. Um, music is another thing. There's a big emphasis on making Dragon's Dogma 1 feel eerie and feel like a specific theme that was thought about and created to give you this feeling of dread, of impending darkness. And there's a lot of places in the game. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I'm not going to, but there's a lot of places in the game that really feed into that atmosphere. And the first one just doesn't have that at all. It's almost like they ripped off Skyrim with all the Dragon's Dogma assets and then just missed everything that made Skyrim great. So yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts of it. So I'm putting on the playthrough on hold. Hopefully it'll get some love. It'll get some updates. It'll get some performance enhancing, whatever the heck it needs. And at that point, I'll return to it. So until then, hope you guys have fun. Please like, subscribe. I have never said that in any of my videos. I really have to figure out how to get myself to say that because I always forget. But like, subscribe if you want to see more. And have fun with the other playthroughs. I will see you guys later.